All right, y'all. We are live for Keto Class. We're going to talk about some keto misconceptions. So I'm going to talk about some of these keto misconceptions and debunk some of these misconceptions that you may hear on the ketogenic lifestyle. Feel free to drop some of those in the comments as we go. If you got any of those that you're thinking about, so please feel free to drop it in there. If you got any of those things that you may be a little confused about that you hear out there. So I'm gonna start light with some of the things. So y'all definitely drop in. If y'all here watching, definitely drop a comment. I don't see any comments out there yet. There we go. So there we go. Got Misty is on YouTube. So it said, hey, Keto family. There we go. So I see people are starting to roll in here. And Penny says hi, hey to everyone from the YouTube side, y'all. So I appreciate y'all. And it's always fun for me to see people on YouTube. I don't know, because I guess I've been doing Facebook for so long, and it's like, oh man, there's actually some people from YouTube on here. So we got Renee on the Facebook side and Jill there as well. So thank y'all for popping in and saying hello. I see Ellen is having some great success on the keto lifestyle in the mastermind. She hit her 60 pounds of weight loss since September, since we've been working in the mastermind. So she is having some great results. So we got Tammy. Tammy is in there. Hey, Tammy. So Tammy is having some great results as well. She's also a mastermind member. And Lori, Lori is in there too. Lori's a mastermind member. So all my mastermind members are checking in tonight. I love it. So all the mastermind members checking in. Lori has, she reached a huge milestone. She's lost 70 plus pounds since being since doing the ketogenic lifestyle. So a good number that was lost in the mastermind. I don't know exactly how much, but she has gotten into the 200s. Oh yeah. So Lori's got having some great results as well. So, we have a lot of these conversations. We meet twice a week in the mastermind, which is great. And I think it's been a huge help for a lot of people, especially during the time where a lot of people were home and not eating right. Some of the folks in the mastermind were able to change the narrative. So instead of saying, oh man, we in a pandemic and I gained weight, they were able to say, well, during the pandemic, I lost weight. And I mean, losing 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds. Connie, I haven't seen Connie in here yet, but Connie will probably be the first person in the mastermind to reach 100 pounds of weight loss within the mastermind, which is going to be amazing. She's like, every day we talk to her, it's like she's lost a little bit more. So it's like she's in the 90s right now. She's like at 91, 92 weight loss right now. So, hey, Di, appreciate you being out there. So happy Sunday. So y'all definitely make sure y'all go up and y'all allow StreamYard to recognize you so that when you post a comment, we know who you are and it doesn't just come up as Facebook user, but down 4 pounds now. I love it. I wish I knew who it was. Tell me who it is. How you down 4 pounds? So, we love to celebrate each other with our wins. So hello there. You got April in here. Says, hey, fellow keto friends. All right. So let's get going, y'all. Let's get going. So, Ellen, good job, me. Yes, Ellen, pat yourself on the back. Celebrate yourself. Got to do it. So definitely. So let's talk about some of these keto myths, y'all. It's so many of them out there, and it sometimes it fires me up. Y'all know I've done some live videos about some of these myths, and I get fired up about it because it's like, I think that sometimes the misinformation drives people away from the ketogenic lifestyle. And I'm going to start light, but I got a couple heavy ones to go to a little bit down the road. So you'll stick around to see some of these heavy keto lifestyle myths. So I'll first start with one. I'll start light about the need or the necessity of having carbs. So there'll be some people that'll come out and say, well, you have to have carbs. Like if you don't eat carbs, you can't live without carbs. So the problem with that statement is this. Is that on the ketogenic lifestyle, we do eat carbs. And usually, if you're in weight loss mode, I teach for you to keep them under 20 grams of carbs. And it's not only do you eat them, but you're going to get them from a different place. So you're not going to necessarily get your carbs from bread, pasta, rice, and cereal. You're going to get and potatoes. I always say bread, cereal, and potatoes, but you're going to get your carbs from veggies. And not only that, but we have a process in our body called gluconeogenesis. in which the body is going to converts carbohydrates from other foods. And we always talk about protein, but there's so many other places that the body is able to convert these carbohydrates as well. So that is a huge myth that, basically you're eliminating something that you can't live without, in a sense, and that we are living without it in the ketogenic lifestyle. And then in the ketogenic lifestyle, we are accessing carbohydrates. The key for us is to moderate them, to keep them at a level that we can burn them all off on a regular basis. And in the standard American diet, which I never even thought about, but it stands for SAD, the SAD diet, right? The standard American diet, you realize that people are eating 300 plus carbs a day on a daily basis. So when we say we're eating 20, it's like, oh, it's a shock, right? That, you're eating 20 grams of carbs. So that is definitely one of the misconceptions. You said, is that net carbs or total carbs? So that is definitely net carbs. The 20 is net carbs, but people can do total. You can do 20 total. I teach net. I think that if you're a person that's coming from a place where you're in need of weight loss and you want to change your lifestyle, I think that just going straight to total carbs is pretty tough. It's pretty tough to start off. I think that when you go straight to the net carbs, I think that's a help for you. That's a help for you because you may have to wean yourself off of some of the keto goodies and keto snacks, and that as you learn, you'll get better at it. Total carbs will, if you do total carbs, you pretty much will be eliminating a lot of packaged items. You really will. So, I mean, total carbs is definitely a very powerful way to start the ketogenic lifestyle. I just think that if somebody has been taught to eat a certain way for 30, 40, 50 years, it's pretty tough to start that way. And I use it more so as challenges, week-long challenges and things like that. But for my groups, all the groups I teach net carbs. So that's a great question. That's that's the carbohydrate thing, and people will go in about how we need carbs and, and the one thing that you'll notice is that carbs are not considered an essential macronutrient. It is not considered essential, whereas protein is considered essential as well as our fat is considered essential. Those are considered essential macronutrients, whereas carbohydrates is not considered an essential macronutrient. So that is one myth. That is one myth. And we'll get carbs from converting other things that we take in. Our body knows how to convert things into carbohydrates. Another thing is that our brain needs carbohydrates. You hear that a lot. Our brain, I did a TikTok on this and y'all can check it out. That our brain needs carbohydrates, right? So yes, our brain needs carbohydrates. But the thing is with our brain is that because of the blood-brain barrier, our body, the carbohydrates do not have a direct path to our brain. So there are times when we start to lack the amount of carbohydrates, and because the carbohydrates have to take a different path to get there. That's why sometimes you walk into a room, you're like, why did I come in here? Because those carbohydrates are not necessarily getting to your brain. So when you start to like burn them all off, or you start to use them, you might start to get that brain fog, which a lot of people talk about. And it's so funny that the people who are eating the most carbs are having these issues, right? Are having the brain fog or not, or forgetting their kids' names. Or the people that are eating the most carbs are having this problem because when they crash, these carbs they're not getting to the brain properly. And ketones actually are small enough to pass through the blood-brain barrier. And that's why people have so much mental clarity and energy when they're producing ketones throughout their body. And even if some people are drinking them exogenously, they can notice that they get this mental clarity and this energy because ketones will pass through that blood-brain barrier instantly, and they don't have to take the roundabout way to get there like the carbohydrates do. So the we need carbs is definitely one of those myths that people will put out there, which is and the thing is about these myths, y'all, is a lot of times is if you ask somebody to actually put some facts behind it, they usually cannot. It's just that we need carbs. It's like, okay, tell me more. It's like, we need carbs. Like, tell me more. That's all they can say is we need carbs. So that is myth number one. So, hey, Carmina, I appreciate you popping in there. I say Tammy. Tammy is over there on the YouTube side. So let's look at myth number two. And I won't number them because I just literally wrote stuff all over the paper. So, but I might say it for a little while. But keto it's depriving, and it will starve you. Like you're starving yourself, which is so untrue. I mean, it's got to be the total opposite. And you can tell that anyone that makes this comment has not practiced the ketogenic lifestyle at all. You can tell that they have not practiced the ketogenic lifestyle at all. It's so funny because one of our community members would send me videos from a nutritionist. And this particular nutritionist would always like make fun of keto people, right? And he's like holding up some bread, like, you hungry? Hey, you hungry? And it's like, that's so false. It's such one of those things where it's like, it's so not true. And I hate the fact to see that from people that people respect, that people respect their knowledge. And it's like, if people respect your knowledge, I always think that you should give them your best. So if somebody asks me about something I don't understand, I don't know. I don't understand that. That's not my realm. I know this. So like, for instance, I was on a panel and someone asked me about carnivore. I'm like, that's not my thing. I can't teach you about carnivore. I'm learning carnivore myself. So, I'm not going to go in or say negative things about it because I have not learned everything I need to know about that lifestyle. And I noticed that sometimes people will come out and say, oh, they're starving themselves. That's not healthy. You're not starving yourself on the ketogenic lifestyle at all. Matter of fact, the one phrase that I get the most is, coach, I don't know what's wrong. I'm not hungry. Because once you start to produce these ketones and those BHBs flowing around in your body, it actually changes your appetite. So most people on the ketogenic lifestyle only eat 2 meals a day at the most. They only eating 2 meals a day at the most. And it's not because they're starving themselves. It's because their body has adapted in a way where you're now eating to live. You're not living to eat. And that is what you want with the ketogenic lifestyle. That's what you want in any lifestyle, because I remember counting calories. I remember doing that, and I was hungry all the time. I was angry. I was hangry. As my wife used to say, you hangry. I was hungry because I was taking almonds and putting them on a scale, and then I would have to eat like a certain amount of them, and I would look, and it would be such a small amount. I would be mad. I'd be like, man, I'd be eating them real slow because I know I only could eat like 4 or 5 of them. And that was miserable. So when I was counting those, that was miserable. The thing about the ketogenic lifestyle is that it naturally helps you be satiated. And why are you satiated? Because you're eating more protein and more fat, which is more satiating. Even fat is double the calories of protein and carbohydrates, which in actuality helps to satiate you even more. So it is definitely not a deprivation lifestyle. And I always tell people to focus on what you can eat and not what you cannot eat. And when I say you cannot eat, there's nothing in this world you cannot eat. You grown, but if you want to stay in the ketosis, there are certain foods that you're going to want to eat in order to stay in ketosis. And there are certain foods you want to stay away from in order to stay in ketosis. And I always have this conversation with my dad because he'd be like, oh, you're going to tell me not to eat that? That ain't healthy. And I'm like, Dad, it's not that it's not healthy. It's just not conducive to you getting into ketosis. So like an apple, I'm not going to sit here and tell you an apple is unhealthy. No, it's not unhealthy, but it's not conducive to the ketogenic lifestyle. It's not going to help you reach that goal that you want to get on the ketogenic lifestyle. So since we're talking about apples right now, I'll talk about fruit. That's another misconception. Fruit is another misconception. Yes, focus on the can. Thank you, Alan. Focus on the can and not the cannot. Fruit. So, people are like, oh, you don't even eat fruit. Like y'all say fruit is, no, it's not that fruit. If fruit is nature's candy, y'all. And that's the one thing that you have to realize is that fruit is nature's candy. And we overeat just on the standard American diet. We overeat anyway. So berries are something that is higher in carbs, but you can have some. So you can eat berries. You can definitely eat berries on a ketogenic lifestyle. You want to eat a half a cup or less. Like the blueberries, the raspberries, and items like that. Strawberries even, but you want to eat like a half a cup. And even that half a cup is going to give you like 7 to 8 grams of carbs. And I'm averaging for that half a cup. So, do you want to use a half a cup of your carb intake for the day on berries? Probably not. And then people also try to talk about the nutrients that are in berries. So you're eliminating the nutrients that you can get from the fruit. And in actuality, the truth of the matter is the same nutrients that you can get in fruit, you can get in vegetables. And yes, we do eat vegetables. So the same nutrients you can get in fruits, we can get in vegetables, and you don't have the sugar added. So the sugar being added to that, and I'm not saying added like, it's added by nature, which is definitely better than the white sugar that we put on stuff. But because it doesn't have that sugar in it, people deem it not to be the same. But you can get those same nutrients that you get from particular fruits and berries and veggies. And all you have to do is pair it and find out if this is the particular nutrient you want. You think most people are not eating fruits and berries, and most people are not eating fruit because they're looking for a specific nutrient. Let's keep it real. But if you are looking for a specific nutrient, you can definitely find a veggie that will match it, and that will not have that added sugar in it. So the thing that we love about fruit is the sugar, and is not the nutrient. So that's another myth. Let me see some of these comments. They said, absolutely, coach. He said, I heard for me to get calories, he said, I'm never hungry now. I eat because I know I I need to eat. You said my hunger is gone. Yes, your hunger becomes regulated. We start to eat to live. We're not living to eat. So that's just like today. Like, for instance, I knew I was going live at around 8 o'clock. So I ate something really quick. I just kind of ate, and it was more of a snack type of thing. But my snack was, I had a 2 Good yogurt with some granola in it. I ate that, and then I ate the Epic bar. So I eat like the Epic bars. They're a protein bar. When I say protein, it's meat. So I don't really eat protein bars like that, but it's meat. So I ate that before I went live, because I knew, like, well, I'm probably not going to eat anything else for the night. I'm not going to eat anything else for the night because I intermittent fast on most days, and I probably won't eat anything until 12 tomorrow. And I do say probably, because if I wake up in the morning and I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. I listen to my body, and I encourage y'all to do the same thing. So, especially when it comes to intermittent fasting, I guess I can touch on that while we're here, is that when you intermittent fast, you have to do it indefinitely, forever, every day for the rest of your life. Intermittent fasting it does not have to be every day for the rest of your life. You can do it 2 days a week. You can do it 3 days a week. You can do it 1 day a week. You can switch it up as you see fit. It does not have to be an indefinite period of fasting. So I definitely want to touch on that, because that seems to be a misconception that people have, is that when they start intermittent fasting, they have to do it every single day, indefinitely. So Talia, Talia said you're absolutely right. So yes, we are not hungry. We are not depriving ourselves on the ketogenic lifestyle. And that's definitely one of the myths that individuals who have never tried the lifestyle, or for some reason or another are just anti-keto, don't understand that. They don't understand that we're not hungry. We're definitely not starving ourselves on the ketogenic lifestyle. So let's see. It's hard to stick to. Ketogenic lifestyle is hard to stick to. It's not sustainable. Have you ever heard that before? It's not sustainable. So I always say this, y'all. If there's anything in life that you start that's different, that's new, most of us are above our 30s, we're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, doing the ketogenic lifestyle. And we've been eating a specific way all of our life. So just imagine if you've been doing anything in your life for 30 or 40 or 50, 60 years, and now you're going to change it. It's not going to be super easy. It's not going to be something that's just going to come like naturally. Oh yeah, it's just going to come naturally. So like, if all of a sudden you've been all of a sudden you're gonna learn how to ride a bike, and you 50 years old, you think that all of a sudden it's just gonna come easy. It's not gonna come easy to you, because you haven't done it. You haven't learned how to do that. Now, if you rode a bike when you were 8 and now you jump on one when you're 50, it might just come right back to you, right? So you got to think. And also, if there are things that you stop doing, you're going to go back to the old way. You're going to go back to the old way. And I always talk about people in the gym. If you go and you're a bodybuilder, now let's go back to the bike analogy. So if you are a person who rode a bike at 8 and you just stopped riding a bike until you were 50, yeah, you might get on it and be able to pedal and do some things, but you're not going to be able to do all them things you used to be able to do when you were 8. And it's going to take you some time to get back to that. It's going to take you some time to get that level of comfort back. Now, just imagine if you're a person that goes to the gym every day. So you say, hey, I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to start to build massive amounts of muscle on my body. And you go to the gym every day, let's just say for 90 days, and you start to see this huge change in your body. And you're like, wow, I'm looking great, feeling great. and then you stop going for the next 90 days. What's going to happen to your body? It's going to go back to where you started 90 days before. So it's really unrealistic for people to say, oh, it's not sustainable. And as soon as you stop doing the ketogenic lifestyle, you're going to gain all your weight back. If you stop doing anything that's beneficial in your life, you're going to go back to the old you. Let's just keep it real. And these are the things that really kind of agitate me when I'm hear people talk about the ketogenic lifestyle. And I don't mind having a scientific debate about it. I don't mind that. I don't mind having a thought-provoking debate. But what I do mind is people just throwing out words like it's not sustainable. Okay, give me proof that it's not sustainable. I'm getting ready to give you some proof that it is sustainable, because there's a study called the Verta study where they took diabetic individuals and they kept them on this lifestyle. They didn't keep them on the lifestyle. They had the option to stay on it or not for 2 years. And 74% of the people were able to stick with the ketogenic lifestyle. That is a huge number. That's a huge number of people, because I mean, if I could go in and find some data of some other things in the world or in life, I mean, just imagine how many businesses don't last 5 years. I bet you it ain't 74% of them. So is business not sustainable? Is starting a business not sustainable? So you think about little things like that. This is a very sustainable lifestyle if you want to put in the work. And you have to put in the work. You got to put in the work for any type of lifestyle change. Any lifestyle change, you're going to have to put in the work. And I just want people to own that, to own the fact that, yeah, if it's a lifestyle change, it's going to take some work. It's not going to be totally easy. But this Verta study definitely shows, and y'all can Google it yourself, that 74% of people were able to sustain the ketogenic lifestyle for 2 years in that study. And they were not forced to stay on it, so that's evidence. And that's what I say. We're going to debate. Let's bring some evidence. Let's bring me some scientific fact. Bring me some scientific notation. Bring me something of some substance, and not just saying comments like carbs are bad. If you don't eat carbs, it's not good for you. Okay, give me some proof. Give me some proof that it's not. So you say, so Di says, I know, right? Said, I'm turning 55 Tuesday. Oh, that's awesome. A happy birthday. Said keto has been a game changer for me. Wow. So yes, indeed. So who else we got in there? So Adai says, I know I can I guess eat this way the rest of my life. Yes, indeed. And that's how I am with keto. Like, I'm not even enticed by certain foods anymore. Like, it's certain things that don't even faze me. I'm not even interested because I know what it's going to do to my stomach. So hey Sheila. Thanks for popping in here on the YouTube side, man. I appreciate y'all from popping in here. So let's talk about ketoacidosis. Now, this is concerning to me because I've even had someone come to me and say that their medical professional told them don't do keto because you can get ketoacidosis. I'm like, oh wow. Now, ketoacidosis is the opposite of ketosis, y'all. So don't be don't be misled when somebody's like, oh, doing keto, you're gonna get ketoacidosis. Ketoacidosis happens in individuals who cannot control their blood sugar. And why can they not control their blood sugar? Because they're not producing enough insulin. Whatever reason why they're not producing enough insulin, that is why they cannot control their blood sugar. So what happens is it's maybe this individual is exogenously putting in insulin and they forget or they just stop doing it. And then what happens is their blood sugar goes out of whack, or maybe they have not even been prescribed it yet. Their blood sugar gets so high that the ketones they call the ketones. Come on, y'all, help us out. And the ketones flood the bloodstream in order to bring the blood sugar back down because there's no insulin present. And that's a clue though, y'all. That's a clue right there. So that the ketones flood the bloodstream and the ketones are acidic. So they call it ketoacidosis because it's in the bloodstream and the ketones are there attempting to save your life. And usually a person who has ketoacidosis is really deathly ill. They are really on the verge of losing their life. So ketoacidosis is the total opposite. Because why is it the total opposite? Because with the ketogenic lifestyle, we're controlling our blood sugar, which means we're controlling our insulin, which means that we're not having insulin spikes because we're not eating foods that are spiking our insulin, that are spiking our blood sugar, right? So ketoacidosis and ketosis are on two total opposite ends of the scale. And it is nothing more irritating than someone saying that doing keto, you're going to get ketoacidosis. It is the total opposite. It is the total opposite, because on a ketogenic lifestyle, we do not put sugar in our blood. So therefore we don't have, so having high blood sugar actually you improve your blood sugar the longer you stay on the ketogenic lifestyle, because you're not putting sugar in your blood. So, and that improves our insulin response over time, and all of those things. So ketoacidosis and ketosis are not the same thing. They're totally different. So that is definitely another one of those myth busters. So when you start keto, is it recommended to get the ketosis strips? So Sheila, I don't suggest the strips necessarily. I think when you start, maybe if your first 30 days, you just like, because they're cheap and you can go grab a few and you just want to see if you're producing ketones, I think that's fine. But you'll notice after the first few weeks or so of being keto, they will stop working. They'll stop working, like, because you'll notice like maybe the first few days you'll get like, they'll be very purple, after maybe like the 4th or 5th day, and you'll notice, oh man, but all those urine strips show is the ketones that are leaving your body. And it just shows that you're producing them, but you're not using them yet. So that's why it doesn't work for a long period of time, because once your body starts using them efficiently, starts using the ketones efficiently, they're going to stop showing up on the urine stick. So then you're going to need to go to a blood glucose meter, something like this. This is a Keto Mojo. So if y'all go to the link in my bio, y'all can get to my promo codes. And the promo codes actually I had promo codes for the Keto Mojo, as well as a few other devices. Well, the Keto Coach just does ketones. So if you just want to try ketones, you could just do the Keto Coach. Like if you already have a blood glucose meter at home, you can do the Keto Coach. But I do have discount codes in there for that. So that's what you would want to use down the road. You want to use a blood ketone meter. They also have breath meters. The breath meters they're not as good. So the breath meters are definitely not as good as the blood meter. So, so the blood meter is going to be your best way to test your ketones. The strips will work for a short period of time. So is it absolutely, Coach? You said that's apples and oranges. So I use my blood ketones. Yes, urine is what's excreted. Exactly. Urine is what is telling you. It's telling you what's leaving the body, not telling you what's in the body. So that's for sure. So she says, okay, thank you. Shishi. Oh, that's Shishi. Hey. All right. So there we go. So Shishi there. So look what I got down here next. Keto is just for weight loss. So people get caught up in like, oh, it's a weight, like, it's a quick fix weight loss diet. In actuality, y'all, keto is doing a whole lot more than weight loss. And I'm just going to talk about myself. I had acid reflux. I haven't had no acid reflux. I can't even remember the last time I had to think about acid reflux. I was actually thinking about getting medication at one time for acid reflux. And that really just came back to me like, wow. Like I was really going to get medication for acid reflux. I remember that clearly. So it's like, that's one thing. So it's not just for weight loss. Now, you know that when you start to get healthier, the weight is a result of you getting healthier. So it's not about, oh, I'm losing the weight and then I'm getting healthy. No, you're getting healthier from the inside out. And then the weight is just a picture of that. It's just showing that, okay, you are getting healthier on the inside. And the weight is actually showing that you're getting healthy on the inside. So let's talk about some things. A1Cs. That's one of the very first things I notice from people is that A1C levels will tend to regulate almost immediately. And that's one of the biggest things that I notice. Like just about everyone that has that issue can say that their A1Cs. Diabetes. Man, I always get that question of, hey, I'm a type 2 diabetic. Should I do ketogenic lifestyle? I'm like, for sure. Like for sure, because you will start to see things like the A1Cs. And I always say this, y'all, and this is the simplified scientist in me, because I take advanced concepts and I simplify them in my brain. And I guess that's the teacher in me, because I've always had to take things and filter them in a way that somebody can understand it. If you have high blood sugar, what do? We need to decrease the amount of sugar we put in the blood. And I just think that's so simple. I just think that is just such a simple concept. If you got high blood sugar, let's decrease the amount of sugar we put in the blood. And that's what keto does. And you'll start to notice that if you're not producing insulin like you need to, let's stop eating foods that need insulin in order to bring your blood sugar back down. So if you are not producing insulin like you would like to, and maybe you even have to get needles to produce the insulin. And granted, if you're going to do this, you need to be consulting with a medical professional at the same time to make sure that the levels are there. Because what happens is people tend to say, hey, I want to eat. I need to take my insulin before I eat. And it's crazy that you've even become that dependent upon the insulin before you even eat the food. So we want to get you to the point where you can say, while you consult with your medical professional, let me eat my food and then see where my insulin, see if I need my insulin. You know what I mean? So that's the place where we want to get you. And I'm gonna keep saying, and make sure you are consulting with your medical professional. But I can tell y'all diabetes. I call keto the diabetes diet. So, and y'all know I'm passionate about that, being a Black man, because 77% of Black individuals are more likely to have diabetes than any other nationality. So it is definitely, and of course I see it all around me. My mother has diabetes. My father has diabetes. So it's like my grandmother had diabetes. My grandmother was my first experience with diabetes, because I should see her putting the needles in her stomach, and I was like, "Woo! Like, you really got to do that? Like, put them in your every day?" And just to think, y'all. Oh, what happens? Basically, you're medicated when you have diabetes. You're medicated until the day you die, and that's the sad part about it. When in actuality, it's reversible. It's reversible, and I'm so passionate about that. It's reversible, y'all. It's definitely one of those things. And then we talk about heredity. Okay, so we talk about heredity, and it's hereditary, and we just kind of go with that. It's hereditary. You know what's hereditary? The way you eat is hereditary, because you've been taught to eat a certain way in this home, and then you grow and you continue to eat that way, and then you teach your kids to eat that way, and then they teach their kids to eat that way, and then their kids teach their kids to eat that way. And then what happens is we call that hereditary, when in actuality it's a learned behavior. So and then I'm gonna say in some instances, because I know there's some instances where it's not gonna be that way, but I don't want you to be to the point where you just concede to the point that something is hereditary. Change your lifestyle and see what happens. Change your lifestyle and see if you can actually break the curse of this certain thing in your life, in your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I am. I'm in the midst of saying, you know what? I'm going to break the curse of diabetes. My grandmother had diabetes. My parents have diabetes. So I want to make sure that I can break that. I can break that curse of diabetes, because I believe that it can be done with food. And not only that, the ketogenic lifestyle will definitely help you. And I always tell everybody, give me 90 days. All right. Give me 90 days on this ketogenic lifestyle. Give me 90 days. And we're going to see some changes. And we're going to start to look at some of these things that have been changed. So we talked about skin. We talked about A1Cs. We talked about diabetes. How about the fatty liver, y'all? And the fatty liver, I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm gonna come back to that. How about autoimmune diseases? How about those and autoimmune deficiencies and things like that? Because all of these things are formed from inflammation. And what is a ketogenic lifestyle? It's like an anti-inflammation lifestyle. So you will start to see that inflammation will decrease. You will decrease the inflammation in your body with the ketogenic lifestyle. Mental health is so many times that I'm hearing people talk about how their mental health has changed because of the ketogenic lifestyle. And I'm like, wow, that's a huge deal, that you can change the inflammation, the mental health. So we talk about keto being a lifestyle that was created for children who were having epileptic seizures back in the day, so we know that it actually can help with the brain health. We know that. That if you can take a child who's having seizures every single day and then give them the ketogenic lifestyle, and the seizures can subside, like, that's got to be telling you something. That's got to be telling you something about the brain health. It's got to be telling you something about how it affects the brain. And I know we're really young and really early in this whole ketogenic study, I should say. So there's a lot of things that are going to come out probably long after we're gone, about brain health and things like that. So these are some of the things. So let me talk about the fatty liver. So a lot of people will come and say, oh, well, because you're eating fat, you're going to get a fatty liver. Let's talk about what causes the fatty liver. The fatty liver is caused by excess calories and excess energy intake or excess energy intake. So Tammy says, thanks for your coaching. She said my blood sugar recently dropped from a 6.1 to a 5.3 in 3 months. She's talking about the A1Cs. And she said no longer pre-diabetic. So yeah, Tammy's in the mastermind. She's been in the mastermind for a few months now, and there you have it. And that's why I say, y'all, give me 90 days to teach you all of the nuances of the ketogenic lifestyle, because there's some things that people do wrong when they try to do it by themselves, you know, and they don't realize it. And I try to teach all those things through my TikTok, through my YouTube, and through my Facebook. But sometimes who has that kind of time? You know, who has that kind of time to go through every single video I made over the last 4 years, you know? So being a part of a group where you can ask those specific questions, and then also you can learn from other people's mistakes, it definitely helps you a lot quicker. So look at that. A1Cs have been normalized just by just doing the ketogenic lifestyle. So thank you, Tammy, for sharing that, because that may help somebody who may be sitting here and have had all these misconceptions flowing at them. And it's so funny because I've heard stories of like family members who are literally angry with people because they're doing the ketogenic lifestyle. I'm like, that same family member, were they ever angry with you when you were eating Burger King or eating McDonald's, or you were just eating fast food on a regular basis, or you were eating snacks on a regular basis, or you were just drinking a soda a day, or, you know, were they angry with you then? You know, so it's always interesting to me how people are angry with individuals when they start the ketogenic lifestyle. So let's talk about, I see somebody said fatty liver, seizures, thyroid disease. Yeah, so a lot of things, right? So the fatty liver, the excess calories and the excess energy intake, and of refined carbs. So the refined carbs is what is helping to cause this fatty liver. So basically, just look at it as the overflow. So you're getting all of this refined carbs, you're getting all this excess energy from calories, and it's an overflow, and this builds up as fat on the liver. The ketogenic lifestyle is the total opposite. It's like ketosis and ketoacidosis. It's like, how can you associate a fatty liver with the ketogenic lifestyle? Because it tells you that the fatty liver is associated with the calorie intake, the over intake of calorie and sugar, basically, which is the total opposite of what we do. So when someone tells about the fatty liver, it makes no sense, because the fatty liver is caused by excess energy intake, which we're not intaking excess energy because we're not eating as much, because we're not as hungry, right? Because now we're eating 2 meals a day instead of eating 3 meals a day and a snack in between each meal. So there's a difference, right? Also, one of the risk factors of fatty liver is the insulin resistance, which we already know that we're helping to improve our insulin production. So, or overproduction or underproduction, right? We're helping to improve that underproduction of insulin, because we're able to give our liver a rest. We're able to say, our liver is not in there working. Or our pancreas is not working to get these out, you know, to get these ketones out. So we are, it's the total opposite. So these are some of the things I just wanted to share with y'all today, just to kind of touch base on some of these misconceptions, y'all. I don't see if I got any other ones. I'll talk about cholesterol, then that'll be it. So cholesterol. So so have you ever heard in school when you were a kid where it's like it's always the person that reacts that reacts. So if somebody hits you and you hit them back, it's always the person that hit back that gets caught, right? Or that gets in trouble. And that's what the cholesterol issue is. Because in actuality, cholesterol is coming to patch up the damage that is done to the blood vessel from sugar, from the excess sugar and carbohydrates. Because what happens is when you get the excess sugar and carbohydrates, just imagine it. I just imagine it as it's like a tear. I imagine it's like a tear, like if you like tear like a fabric, tear like a piece of fabric, like on your clothing. Like if you were to take your clothing and like tear it, it would be like a tear on the blood vessel, right? And then the cholesterol comes along to patch it up. And because it comes to patch it up. Now, the more you tear these blood vessels, the more cholesterol is coming to patch it up. And then what happens if you put Band-Aids on top of Band-Aids on top of Band-Aids on top of Band-Aids, they just start to pile up, right? So it's the same thing that's happening inside the blood vessel. So the cholesterol is being blamed for what the carbohydrates and the sugar is actually causing. So I've heard two different analogies that I thought were really good. So one was a firefighter. It's like blaming the firefighter for starting the fire. So the firefighter. So every time you see a fire, and you're like, every time there's a fire, firefighters are there. Yeah, they there because they there to put the fire out. So it's the same concept as the cholesterol. The cholesterol is there to put the fire out because of whatever damage has been done to the blood vessel. And I've also heard it as a Band-Aid. It's saying, well, every time there's a cut, there's a Band-Aid there, and if every time there's a cut, there's a Band-Aid there, the Band-Aid is there because of the cut. Not the Band-Aid is there because the cut was there. The Band-Aid ain't the enemy. The Band-Aid is there to help you out. So it's the same concept with cholesterol, and cholesterol has been deemed to be the enemy or the the bad guy. So it's like making the firefighter the bad guy because he's there to put the fire out. It's like if there was no fire, I wouldn't be here. So that's the cholesterol. And then again, I always tell y'all that there's the HDL, which is the healthy cholesterol, then there's the LDL, which is the lousy cholesterol. You and I can have the same exact cholesterol number, and I've shown this graphic in the mastermind group. You and I can have the same exact cholesterol number, and my level of risk could be different than your level of risk. So, and that's the crazy thing, and that's the one thing that's not taught to the masses, is that there's a pattern A and there's a pattern B. Pattern A is the harmless type of cholesterol, which I always call the big fluffies. I imagine them as being like beach balls. They bounce around, they're happy, they're not bothering anybody. So if you have a bunch of those pattern A's, and then that means that you're not at a high risk. And then if you have the bunch of the pattern B's, and that means that you may be at a high risk. So those are some of the things that are not necessarily laid out for us when it comes to cholesterol. So just wanted to share some of these misconceptions and these myths. If y'all got any questions, definitely drop them in the comments on the Facebook side and on the YouTube side. For sure, y'all, on the YouTube, y'all, I put all the links there in the description for y'all. So y'all can definitely check those out, as well as you can subscribe to the YouTube, click the bell. So every time I go live on YouTube, you will see it. On Facebook, make sure you're in the Facebook group. So make sure that if you're on YouTube, you can see the Facebook group there. Click that, get into the Facebook group. Y'all know my TikTok folks. Hopefully all of y'all are in the Facebook group as well, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So yes, so make sure y'all do that. So hey, Jacinda, I see you. So appreciate you popping in on that YouTube side. So thank you. If y'all got any questions, y'all know how to reach out to me. The number's usually up there. I guess I can stream it down bottom. So I'll stream the number down bottom there. So y'all, that's how y'all can reach out to me. Y'all can send me a text message. We can set up a time to talk. It's a free conversation to get you going in the right direction, or just to answer a couple questions that you might have to get you headed in the direction in which you can have success on the ketogenic lifestyle. I always tell y'all, make sure y'all check out my Etsy. I have a Etsy best-selling book there. It is it's a meal plan, actually. So I have the meal plan there on Etsy. The meal plan is a 2-month meal plan, 63 recipes with 2 months worth of shopping lists as well. It's an Etsy bestseller. And I always tell everybody, why is it an Etsy bestseller? Because there are a lot of meal plans on Etsy. And most of the meal plans are for 30 days and it costs $10. Mine is for 90 days. It's for 60 days and it costs $5. So you're getting double for half. So y'all better go ahead and get that while I'm still not thinking straight and putting that thing on Etsy for $5. So y'all go ahead and get that meal plan, y'all. It's an Etsy bestseller because of the amount of content you get for $5. So also y'all can see my book. How you get to it. I can't even get the right direction. That's my book, the Keto Playbook. That's also on Etsy as well, y'all. So check that out. Check out the book, the Keto Playbook. That will walk you through the ketogenic lifestyle. And not only that, y'all, so whatever it is that you get, you know the author. So y'all got my number there to send me a message if there's anything you have questions about in regards to the ketogenic lifestyle. So I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for showing up tonight, and I hope you have been helped by some of this information that I have shared with you, so that some of these misconceptions can fly over your head. You can just be like, well, why did I say go in one ear and out the other? Because you know the real truth. And not only that, you'll have a little ammunition to go back and say, well, how about this or how about that? and see if they can actually bring you some scientific fact to back up their fears. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining me, and I'll see y'all next week.